Australia, in United Kingdom, inside South Sudan and beyond. Welcome to our complete studio, your South Sudanese exiled boys. In this episode, I just want to take some few minutes of our complete air time to dedicate this special presentation to Dhieu Deng Leek. Dhieu Deng Leek and I are members of Duquesne community in JONGLEI state and truly passionate to serve the cause of humanity and as well as our community. As a community, it is an obligation and privilege to have this opportunity to present to you Dhieu Deng Leek. In this presentation, you will see it all from every angle that Dhieu has been able to have the opportunities to travel back home, showing his service and taking different interviews from different press conference, and as well as his job serving the interests of others in JONGLEI state, regardless what tribe or what clan they come from.
You know, I, as from Southern Sudan and others, we really feel blessed. My name is John Dow. After fleeing my home village in Duke County, Southern Sudan in 1987, at age of 12, I journeyed thousands of miles, leading more than 1,200 young children through violence and starvation as we fled Sudanese government troops. We eventually arrived at Kakuma refugee camp in Kenya. In 2001, I was one of the lucky refugees brought to the United States, where I worked several minimum wage jobs, but I got my associate degree, bought my house, brought my mother and my sister.
Welcome to Minds of Mountain Film. My name is Ben Skinner. I'm here with John Dow, a star of the 2006 documentary God Grew Tired of Us, and somebody who has done a great deal of work for Southern Sudan through the John Dow Foundation. John, welcome to Minds of Mountain Film.
Thank you very much.
I'd like to start out just by opening it up and asking, what does the foundation do? How did you get involved with it? What's the mission?
Well, the foundation that you're talking about is called John Dow Foundation. I got involved in humanitarian work, non-profit organization work in 2004, right when I came from Africa to United States, having got all the support that I've been getting from Syracuse, New York, Central New York, and Skaneateles and others. You know, that I felt like I was, you know, of course, blessed to be able to get to enjoy all the opportunities the United States has to offer. For example, going to school, be able to find job, make friends, and so I thought, and you know, this is great. So what do I do in my life? I must give something back, and that's why I start forming non-profit organization. The first one was the Lost Boy Foundation of New York. The second one was American Care for Sudan Foundation. The third one, the John Dow Foundation, and the fourth one is known as South Sudan Institute, now which I'm now running the last two, the John Dow Foundation, and which is running the medical clinic that we built in 2006, supporting it and running it, and then the South Sudan Institute, which has three components: it has agriculture, peace and reconciliation, and education. So I end up running two, and then I let the other two go. And what the John Dow Foundation do, as I said before, we built this medical clinic in a place that has never been a medical facility before, since the creation. So this clinic that we built in 2006 have helped so many people in South Sudan. I would say South Sudan, of course, it is built in Dhieu County, JONGLEI State, but still helping people in South Sudan in many ways, treating diseases such as malaria, pneumonia, tuberculosis, all the other diseases, and they also help mothers who are giving birth, and maternity services, and all of the above. And of course, last 2 years, we were bringing doctors, medical doctors that are, generously accept to come to South Sudan, to my village, to open people's eyes, those who are blind. So the John Dow Foundation is doing that with the, getting other people to support us, be part of the John Dow Foundation. So that medical clinic has helped so many people. In last months, we have passed a number of patients that have been coming to the clinics, about 100,000 of people. Over 7,000 children vaccinated at the clinic. Over 4,000 mothers gave birth to the medical clinic for the first time. So this medical clinic is doing a lot, even including nutritions, those who are malnourished, especially elderly and children. They come there, we admit them, and then we feed them, and then they gain weight and then go home. So this medical clinic is what I always said is the great heart of America. It shows how great is the United States, because of being supported by Americans.
And on that point, before we step back and talk about your origins and how you came to America and what life was like for you in Jonglei before you came, I wonder if you could just say how, if people want to get involved with the John Dow Foundation, what's the best way to do it?
Always the best way you could do it for those who would be able to want to help us. You can go to website www.johndowfoundation.org, or if you want to also help with peace, you can also go to the South Sudan Institute.org, or if you want to help with others, such as the other doctors, the eye doctors that are helping. So you can go to John Moran Eye Center. So all of this, you can either Google our name, or maybe I'm going to give you a card so that you can have the exactly website for those who would definitely want to learn more about it or want to support us. Why not?
Very good. So stepping back, of course, the Second Sudanese Civil War was complex origins, going back in essence centuries, arguably to the middle of the 19th century. We could spend 3 years talking solidly about the origins of this war, but talk to me about your experience within that war and how you wound up coming to the United States. For those that haven't seen the film, what was your experience and how did you wind up coming through Kakuma?
Well, for those who have not never had the opportunity to watch God Grew Tired of Us, or watch the movie that we showed yesterday and we're showing tonight, known as Dhieu County. For those who have not had opportunity to see those movies or read my books or my two books, God Grew Tired of Us and The Lost Boy, Lost Girl, or other book written by other lost boys. For those who have not gotten that information, what happened, in Sudan is before it split into two. Sudan is a country known for internal fighting. The North against South, the North of which majority of them, about 98%, call themselves Arab. They identify themselves with Arab, and of course Muslim. Whereas the South, where I come from, we identify ourselves as African. and Christians. So this has been fighting between these two groups. The North always control the government, control the power, control everything, control the resources. And you can see they use country resources to destroy the half of the country, I mean the South. For example, 1983, war started between North and South, and didn't get to my village until 1987 when I was 12 years old. This is exactly when many villages in South Sudan were raided, burned down, or killed people and so on. And so many young boys, including myself, we were separated from families. And then we wind up becoming refugees in Kenya, I mean in Ethiopia first, and then later in Kenya. So it was a very, very tough situation, especially when we left our villages being chased down, shot at, bombed, whatever it is. The situation at that time was very tough. Not only that you are worried about whether you're going to survive or not, but also, I mean, killings and shooting, but also things like starvations, thirst, wild animal attacks. It just became very, very difficult. And some of us lost their life through those, whether attacked by wild animals, killed by fellow human being missionaries sent from the north to destroy Southerners, or died of hunger, starvation, thirst. And I can vividly still remember at that time, within my village to Ethiopia, it was very tough. There was nothing to eat. You only live on wild fruits, drinking human urine, or eating mud, or chewing grass like a cow. Because there's nothing you can do. You got to eat what you can find so that you can stay alive. That's those who did not, didn't even help some of the lost boys to survive.
Now, before you get to the story of the Lost Boys, because it's a fascinating one and it's one that everybody should know and think about as we think about the effects of war on children in particular. But talk to me briefly about the United Nations, in theory, was supposed to be providing, through the World Food Program, through the World Health Organization, aid to those in gravest need around the world. The United Nations did not intervene, and they did not come to those areas that the government of Northern Sudan, of the government of Sudan at the time, said don't go to. It's been argued that, therefore, the United Nations, by virtue of that neutrality, by virtue of respecting the sovereign government, which was Khartoum at the time, was complicit with genocide. Do you have an opinion on that?
Well, and many times I can criticize United Nations, and I also sometimes can appreciate what they have done. First of all, United Nations is good. They help many people. They gave me education. Without the United Nations, I would have never been to school. This is good. They helped me also with the other guys, other fellow, refugees, and they provide foods and clothes and so on. Okay, so I would not want to not say that because they have done a good job of that situation. However, the United Nations must, in my own opinion, must revise what are their policies. And sometimes I don't even get them what they really are doing. For example, they allowed criminals that call themselves governments or leaders or whatever it is to destroy others. So then I said, so what was the message allowed all the nations to form United Nations? If they cannot protect the life of simple, vulnerable people like us, for example, the United Nations was aware that we were there. And even they brought some food. But can a human being live on only food? No. Food alone cannot help you. You can eat today and then kill tomorrow, right? You'll be destroyed tomorrow, and so on. So why are they so good in providing food and they're not so good in protecting life? And that is what has been going on. And what makes me really sad sometimes is that there are some clips that come out right now about us. There were some journalists went to refugee camp, for example, in Ethiopia, and the United Nations was aware. So I said, so what is your work? We were children, okay? Maybe if, I'm not asking the United Nations to get intervene in places where like adult and killing adults or something like that, which of course they should do that. But we were children. Even they describe our camp as a city of children. So the question is, those who are running United Nations, don't you have kids? You have children, right? So why don't you put your children in our shoes?
And on that note, we're running a little short of time, but I wanted to just say, to understand what it is to be in your shoes, a great place to start. The books, the documentaries that you cited. One final question: how will Southern Sudan proceed in peace and prosperity? And are you optimistic for the future?
South Sudan have a good standing. At this point, it's a new country. It's a country with the resources right now. It's a country with people have some attention. And of course, if you talk to somebody tolerate here in Colorado and say, what is South Sudan? Maybe some people will tell you. It has never happened before. A country deep in Africa, far away, maybe even some people in the United States call Africa a country. Right now, it's standing a good chance to survive and do very well. We have good leadership, and I think South Sudan need help. It need help in many ways. You can't just say, okay, we help you, you become independent, and that's you go. It's like you're giving birth to a child, and they say, okay, it's up to you whether you start to crawl or sit up or walk. That's how it is. South Sudan is just like a little kid. I mean, a baby born, right? It's a 19 months old now country. So how would you do that? How would you say, okay, now you're independent, just go? What I'm asking is, I'm not blaming anybody here, but what I'm saying is, since we are all human beings and we are connected and we are a community of a global, it's a community of global leaders and global, society and so on. Don't we have this obligation to help each other when each other cannot help him or herself or itself? For example, South Sudan cannot help itself right now. Why can't we help? You cannot assume that they are leaders. Well, you can be president. That the title of being president or prime minister or so on cannot do work.
So what I hear you saying is, with that coordination, with that collaboration, that support, you're optimistic about the future.
Very optimistic. South Sudan will be, if we are given chance, especially those who are from United States, from Australia, from Canada, from outside the country. If we are given chance, South Sudan is going to be a prosperous nation. So there will be a food basket of the whole of Africa, because we have everything what it takes. We have a lot of sunshine, we have a lot of rains, rain from April until November, we have oil, we have all those minerals. South Sudan is, I'm very optimistic at this point, but I think we need more help so that we can get to that goal.
Well, as they say in the South, God willing, as they say in the North, inshallah. And I want to thank you very much, John Dhieu, for your time today. Apatape is did I get it right?
Yes,
yes. And I wish you the best of luck with your foundation.
Thank you, Ben.
Thank you.
God bless.